Okay, that meeting was way faster than I thought it was gonna be. It was approximately 8 minutes. I came in over prepared, which is not a bad thing, but I had like 2 pages of questions and like deep dive and ideas. But since I was so quick, I thought I would go over how I come up with ideas for social media and how I collaborate, because I don't think I've ever really broken that down. In general, the first thing that I do is I start to study the brand. So for this example, I'm working with a brand called Rawcaster. It is a startup social media platform that is created for faith-based communities. When I looked at their page, the first thing that I looked at was branding. So they started up in March. They had really heavy branding in a sense of like every other post was their font, their colors. Somewhere in May, they stopped doing that. They went to short form video. And then in June, they continued the short form video. They put a lot of their logo over things. And I was looking at that. I just thought like, okay, if I was coming at them from a third party perspective with no experience regarding them before this moment, I don't know if I would be fully attracted to their page, because I personally don't want to have a logo over everything I do. But she did say in the meeting she'll send me the little Rawcaster logo and I can put it in where I want to put it in the video. So I feel a little better about that, because I don't like to have logos all over everything. Like, I'm not the type of person who really wears a lot of logos. I don't put people's logos all over my content. That was just something on the forefront. If they had continued with the branding, this is the branding match with how I brand things. They talk a lot in their social media about we build community, we like bring people together united under faith. But I guess my question was more so, how are you building that connection? Like, what is the realistic approach? The other thing I would have recommended if I was analyzing their social media is I believe that every brand should have pinned posts at the top of their feed. I think that as a content creator, I always put my favorite stuff up there. If I were a brand, I would put like your vision would be probably one of the posts. And then I would have maybe the start of whatever series or like a piece of content that you're really proud of that did very well, I put at top. And then maybe something that's just a basic like who we are, because the vision and who we are obviously go together, but they are also 2 separate types of introductions. Your intro should be your immediate, I'm Kaylee, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is why I started this business, this is the heart behind this business, or like this is the heart behind this page. And then the vision should be like where you want to go. The next thing that I did is I looked at my brand to see how we would do a collaboration, and the things that I brought up to Molly were I did an in-home coffee shop back in Minnesota, and we could play off of something with that because it's already part of my brand, is this like community building, coffee centric, hosting type of vibe. The other thing is with fashion. I said we could promote like sustainability and other people who love clothing swaps or thrifts type of things. The final thing that I pitched to her was I saw that somebody did a video where they were talking about owning a business as a Christian, and I think talking more about social media management and kind of building this business online would be really helpful for me. Maybe how do you community build as a business owner, and then how do you build a business and honor God with what income and who comes into your business while also not getting fully obsessed with the work. So that's just like a quick rundown of how I kind of start the process, and I wanted to share that if you are someone who is just starting out on social media and you kind of don't really know what direction to take things when you're asked to do collaborations. From a social media management mindset, that's where I start things. I think after 6 months, it's like time to let it out. I just feel really angry and really just like sad. I'm having to sit and like think about going back to Minnesota, and I love my family and I am so grateful to be from a place like Minnesota that I can always come back to, but I don't want to live there again. I'm just seeing myself go down the same mental path that I went down in 2021, but I feel like in 2021 I didn't have the faith to really like fight that feeling, and now I feel like the faith that I have is like kind of been used up, and I'm just at a point where I'm like really mad at God and I just don't really want to be there. I think I'm just confused why everything feels so difficult. I feel like I watch other people pick up and move places and it goes smoothly, and they don't have to pray about it for 5 years, and they don't have to wait, and they don't have to put in 450 applications. Like when I came out here, I'm not going to say it was easy to have faith, because there were things that I was like stretched in just by coming out here and the whole path to get here. Now that I've been here, I feel like I'm just stretched and stretched and stretched. And I think I'm just frustrated because I'm like, I've done everything I can do. I've gone in person with resumes, and I've talked to people and handed out my resume at retail places and coffee shops. I have followed up. I cannot get anyone to answer me. I can't even get people to say that they filled the position, and I'm just watching my bank account dwindle down. And like, I've never been in a place in adulthood where I didn't have savings of any kind, and I'm just sitting here being like, I'm gonna have no money, and I'm gonna go back home, and I'm still not gonna have a job, and I'm still gonna feel like a loser. And then what am I gonna do? Sit with my family and feel like a loser? Like, I don't know, I just don't feel like anything's turning out like I thought it would. And even social media I've done for 12 years, and I'm like, I know I'm good at it, but like the numbers just aren't computing. And it's not even necessarily all about the numbers, it's just like even the stuff I feel like I'm good at, I'm not good at anymore. And I just know if I go home, like I won't be happy. And I'm just watching myself mentally go down this like depression route, and I'm lying, trying to like not go down there, but it's like I just don't have anything else to give. All right, I think this is a great reminder of getting back up there and just trying to get back on the horse and get things going. Trying to turn my frown upside down a little bit. My friend from Minnesota, Hillary, who you saw in the makeup vlog where I went back home for the first time in May, she has a friend out here who is an agent who helped her when he was living back in Minnesota. I don't know if he's from Minnesota, and so she connected us, because obviously I'm having a hard time with like the job search, work opportunities, what I could be doing with my content. You know, when you've been like rejected so much in a season that you're like, if another person rejects me, part of me could like crumble. And the other part of me is like, we don't vibe. There's gonna be somebody next week that I'll meet that's new. I'm grateful for this. I don't wanna make it sound like, oh, he just has to meet with me. Like, he has his own schedule and his own life, and he's an important person. So I don't wanna make it sound like, oh, this is nothing. But also I think you kind of get to this point where like socially, if you're meeting so many new people, the meeting new people jitters kind of fall off. I've just been praying that things go well, that we have a good connection, that we have enough stuff to talk about. We'll see how it goes. Hello, queens. Time for the debrief. She claims 80 degrees. I don't believe her. I have never in my life sweat like I did meeting this man at the coffee shop. Got a little debrief on how this coffee situation went. This man works with influencers and does influencer partnerships. Like, Hillary Klein cooked this recommendation. He's very educated. I can tell he's like a hard worker. He loves his job, and we were just vibing. The one thing I will say I struggle across the board in LA is trying to get past work talk. I had an idea what he did for work, and I was genuinely interested, and I feel like I asked really good questions because I am just curious about the work that he does. But I just wanted him to understand that I wasn't coming to our meeting with the idea that like he would offer me a job. But I kind of wish we had just gone like a little bit deeper. We talked about some of our favorite places to eat, what it's like to relocate. He has a dog. We talked about dogs. So like we got into a little bit. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like a job interview moment where I was just like, what do you do? Can you get me in there? I want to have a deeper friendship with people and like a deeper connection with people. So I'm always trying to kind of balance. But I feel like I rarely meet people in agencies who really like what they do. So I think that was a good sign. I met a lot of people specifically in PR agencies who are just like, well, it pays the bills. Like, it's not my dream job, but it is what it is. And this man was talking about when he started here, he just did admin work. Like, that's the first role that you get. And he was like, I just loved it. I worked hard, I proved myself, and I worked my way up. And now I like manage people and teams. I could just tell that like even the grunt work or like the lower level work, he was just passionate about being in the room with the people and like meeting who he was meeting and going to events and doing that type of stuff. So I was like, you are the perfect person to be in touch with out here. We just really clicked in our interests for sure. He did say that they're hiring and he told me to send him my resume. So I feel like I did wake up with like more positive energy after a night of sleep. And I feel like I went to that and it was at least successful. If I don't get any further in the job search or anything, it's like, okay, at least I've met someone now who's been here for 8 years, who has no intention of leaving, really wants to like ground and root himself, not only in the work that he does, but just like in LA. That was my debrief. So I don't know, fingers crossed. Like my heart behind it would be obviously more influencer like assistant or influencer management, but I do feel like I need to start somewhere, and maybe this is just a way to get to know like micro influencers well and build from the ground up and really learn the industry from like a good starting point.
Oh, look, there she is, walking in the middle of the street.
I mean, I saw her head.
No, like literally right there.
Where are you seeing her?
She's in the bushes now. Well, not in a bush, but she's, I wish she was in a bush. This is happening live in action. Karen has entered into the park.
There was just this lady and she just randomly started a fight with this man across from us at the park. Sabrina was like, don't agitate him. She was like very good about it. I feel like you were respectful, but you held your ground and you like respected him.
For it.
But now she's like across the street calling the police, we think, so we don't know what's gonna happen. Otherwise I'm gonna get copyrighted, but we're at the fair today and I'm gonna do a taste test of all the foods that I'm trying for the day, and I'll check back in.
Stay. This entire vlog has just been random moments of my time at home. I was just at a going away party for this couple at the church I grew up in, and it was so sweet because I saw so many people I haven't seen forever, and it was just such a good time of catching up and just seeing people that like meant a lot to me over the years and people who have really shaped who I am. And it's such a juxtaposition to like live in an area where you have only known people for 7 months and then to come home to a place where you know people for years and years and years. Before I left for LA, I would be really burdened by that because it's like, oh, these people knew me when I was young and I was stupid. And now it's just kind of the sweet moment of like, oh, these people have known me forever. I think my mindset in that has switched a lot. And that was just really apparent today when I saw everybody at the church. Like in LA, like I have good friendships. There's not that time and those years and that depth. I'm with Marcus today and we are going to be doing some portraits because Marcus has a company called Haven, and Haven works with local businesses and with local creators. It's just basically like a directory in the Twin Cities for creative people, for small business owners, for nonprofits. He was like, do you want a free headshot? Of course I do. I need to update my headshots, and then also he gets to use it for promo. So I'm at his apartment today. We're gonna go in and just take some pictures. I'm excited to see how they turn out. I wanted to talk about The Summer I Turned Pretty because I had never watched it until this last month, and I've been doing a first time watch through, just giving my raw thoughts like in the moment as I watched the show for the first time. My thoughts on the show and on the characters have actually changed a lot. I think it's really an important discussion more on how we accept love or how we feel about love and how we grow in maturity, more than it is just about like a fun TV show or characters and what team you're on and who should get to be with Belly. There are going to be some spoilers if you haven't watched the show. When I started the show, I gave a lot of grace to Conrad because Conrad was carrying a lot emotionally. He was carrying what he was going to do with his future, the separation of his parents and his dad's affair. He was carrying that his mom had cancer. I think there's just a lot more grace given to him. And then Jeremiah's kind of this wild child. He's kind of will be with anyone and everyone, and he seems a little more self-centered and careless. But as we get into season 3, I think people really start to double down on whatever team they're on and whoever they align with best. And for the longest time, I was standing my ground Team Conrad. And what I've been realizing now that I've had a couple days away from the show, that actually both brothers, well, really all characters, are really good reflections of being young, of being in your early 20s, of being in your late teens, of trying to make decisions for your life and who you should be with and what type of person you should be, what your values are. And so I feel like it is a good reflection of young adulthood. But I just want to say this. I think too many people are giving Conrad a pass because Jeremiah is outwardly not being a good person. Jeremiah outwardly flirts with people. He outwardly womanizes. He outwardly cheats. He wants that $750 cake and he wants it now. It's a lot more outward with the bad qualities. I think what people are forgetting, what we need to go touch some grass on, is that Conrad also would be someone who takes his love away when he doesn't feel like loving you anymore, when he doesn't feel good, when he's gloomy. He can be manipulative in that way too. He can totally just disappear from your life and ghost you and go do what he wants to do and then come back into it when he feels like it. I just really worry, I guess, about young people watching the show coming to the conclusion at the end of it all that Conrad is good, Jeremiah is bad, and of course Belly's just like confused. Belly's just young. They're all young and they're all making really stupid decisions. And if you have a love that looks like Conrad, there are lots of good qualities of Conrad, but it doesn't mean that his bad qualities don't exist and that they're not just quieter than Jeremiah's. I think that's what it is. I think if the character of Jeremiah didn't exist and it was just a story about Conrad and Belly, I think we would feel a lot more strongly about our dislike for Conrad. I think this viewpoint comes from relationships where I've been with the Jeremiah and I've been with the Conrad. Both of them had their issues and both of them had their difficulties. I guess I was thinking, like, if you're watching this and you're with someone who you identify as like a Conrad, please be as diligent about working on the manipulation tactics as you would if you were with a Jeremiah. Because there's like no one on this earth who is perfect by any means. I'm not perfect in saying this, but I definitely am self-aware. And I think what I'm concerned about is people coming out of this show being like, oh, Conrad is amazing. And it's like, no, Conrad has a lot of stuff that he's just not aware he does wrong. And we also have to understand that a lot of the show is either from Belly's perspective or Conrad's perspective. The crap doesn't stink for the other person when you're looking from the viewpoint of these characters. And so I just want people who are watching who are younger to be aware of like what love love really looks like and what it doesn't look like. And it doesn't look like ghosting you and leaving, letting other people pick up the pieces of the mess that you made. I really think that it is a good discussion point. I actually think that would be maybe not a show that I would watch with a boyfriend and be like, what do you think? Which team are you on? But I do think it is a good discussion point on how sometimes people can be very outwardly badly behaved and we tend to write them off. And then there's people who are just more quiet or more subtle about it, and we just kind of let them continue doing what they do. We consider them good because they're not as loud about it.